Let's talk a bit about how security groups work. Well, they define which type of incoming and outgoing connectivity is allowed from our EC2 instances. EC2 instance, they're going to either be added to an existing security group or a new security group is going to be created. We cannot have an EC2 instance that has no security group associated. It has to have either an existing or a new one associated with it. We can have security groups with no active rules, so that do not allow any connectivity, but we cannot have any EC2 instances that do not have a security group associated. So by default, all incoming connections are denied and all outgoing connections are allowed. So anything that comes into that EC2 instance, not going to be allowed. Anything that goes out from that EC2 instance, that will be allowed. EC2 instances, we can place them in multiple security groups. An example of why we wanted to do this is we wanted to create security groups for specific applications, for example, HTTP. And then maybe one for like SSH, which is used to connect into our Linux servers. So if we wanted to create a different security group for each one, that way that we can apply multiple security groups to one EC2 instance, and then it would allow both web traffic via HTTP and then also that connectivity with SSH. Another way to do that is to put both of those rules into the same security group, but we may not necessarily want to create a security group like that. So there's different ways to manage this. So the sources for incoming and destinations for outgoing security group rules. So what can we list in those security groups? We can list anywhere, which you'll see listed as 0.0.0.0/0. We have standalone IP addresses or a range of IP addresses. We can also list a defined IP network or an AWS security group. Now let's take a look at how these rules are going to be looked at within AWS. So we have a security group rule ID, which is a unique identifier for the different rule. We have the type. So this could either list like SSH, HTTP, or custom. If it's not one of those commonly used ones, we can just create a custom one and list any port. We have the protocol, either TCP or UDP or both. We have the port range. So the port range is going to be, like I mentioned, between 1 and 65,535. Common ones are going to be like you can see on the screen. We have 22 for SSH and we have 80 for HTTP. Now, when we look at the source, we can see right there that it has listed the 0.0, so that means anywhere. So this might not be best practice for something like SSH, where we would not necessarily want anyone anywhere to SSH into our Linux servers. So that's just something to keep in mind for this class. It shouldn't really matter because these instances are only going to be around for just a few minutes and they're not really doing anything. And then we can also list descriptions there, and this could be used for something like logging, and so that way that we can kind of pull that and see where that's coming from. Or we can like list, if there was a custom application, we can like describe that custom application there. Okay, so let's take a quick look at how this looks. If we had inbound traffic from the internet, for example, if it's permitted, like let's say with that last security group we just saw, there was port 80, then that would be permitted. We can basically see that that would get through the security group, it would reach the EC2 instance. If it's denied traffic, like let's say that it was something pertaining to FTP, it would not be allowed. So there would not be an incoming FTP connection that would be allowed from the internet. It would not even reach that EC2 instance. The security group will stop it before it even reaches that EC2 instance. Now, similarly with outbound traffic, keep in mind that outbound traffic is all enabled by default, so the permitted traffic will just go right through. But if we did not want to allow all outbound traffic, if we wanted to basically control what was allowed to go outbound, and there was not a rule in place, similarly, that security group would stop that traffic from getting out. And so that traffic would never get out to the internet. Let's talk about some common ports that we're going to see. We have things like HTTPS, which is secure web traffic at 443. We have FTP, which can be 20 or 21, which are used for file transfers. And then SFTP, port 22, that's also going to be used for secure file transfers. Some common ones that we're going to see in this course, we're going to see HTTP 80, which is used for web traffic. We're going to see SSH, which is port 22 for remote connectivity on Linux. And then we'll see 3389 for RDP, which is remote desktop for Windows. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some of the AWS EC2 connection methods. So how can we actually connect into and access some of our EC2 instances? We have RDP, which uses port 3389. That's going to be for Windows. We have SSH, which uses port 22. That's going to be only for Linux. Then we have Instance Connects, which we'll go through in this class. It works similarly to an SSH, but it also uses port 22. And then we have AWS Session Manager. This uses an IAM role, so we do not need to open up a specific port for this. And that can be used on both Windows and Linux. All right, well, this wraps up security groups. Let's move on to the security groups demonstration.